Why, hello, welcome. As you can see, I made a little thing because I was very bored today and I wanted to do something for fun. And as you probably know already, because I literally put it in the thumbnail and title of the video, but this is Flappy Bird within Piggy BM mode. Now I will demonstrate a little playtest before I show off the links in the back. And I will be silent during the playtest. Also, ignore the sound effect. That one. Alright, I'm gonna be silent while I demonstrate this little game that I made right here. When I said I was going to demonstrate Flappy Bird here, didn't mean I was good at this. Okay? It didn't mean I was good at this. And that's around. That's how the Flappy Bird works. And of course, it off to the side, if you didn't see already, it shows your score for that round and the lives you have left. And if I press this again and reset, it'll restart. That's not important though. Yeah. Now, probably the main reason why some of you clicked on this, because I assume most of you are not interested in actual Flappy Bird. I assume most of you are interested in how I made the Flappy Bird, which, as you can see, is really easy. Like, especially easy in Piggy BM mode. So what I'm doing for the pipes is that each pipe is like a looper off in the back here, and each looper here is set to 1 repetition. That way, like, once I power it once, it just stays on. And it doesn't like loop through like the multiple repetitions like it normally does. And as you can see, each one of these loopers is just connected to one of the pipe frames, and every few seconds from this little doodad here, it'll power this this additional looper, which is set to 2 repetitions. So once it's powered, it only goes on and off real quick. And that allows for all these loopers, if they're on, to go to the next looper. And then it's just that same link process repeated over and over and over until the end. And then once it reaches the end, the final looper here is connected to its own timer, and the timer is connected back to the looper to therefore shut it off. Now, what you saw there were some extra link lines for other mechanics. So, for the bird here, let me go over the bird. The bird is just this counter gate right here, and by default it's set to 0, and each frame is basically like a different number. So along this like axis here, with 14 at the top, as you can see right here, and then number 1 at the bottom. And what I'm doing here is whenever I click the flap button, or the jump button in this case, it basically powers on looper, which triggers 2 times, and it's set to this operation gate, which just adds 2 to the counter gate to therefore lift up the bird 2 spots. And then when that's not active, it'll gradually keep subtracting from the bird with this setup every 0.3 seconds. And here's that. There's some extra links here and stuff, like for other cases, like if the bird hits the, like, goes like past the screen here. Basically that's just another check that I do. It's like if it's less than or equal to 0, then it'll make sure to set the bird back to position 3. That way you don't keep going into the ground. And it also subtracts 1 of your health. I'll go over health in a little bit. And then the other case is if the bird is going up across the screen, it'll prevent that. And if it detects that you're above, if you're above 15 or equal to, then I'll just trigger a looper, which triggers a operation gate, which will then just set the counter gate to 14, which is the max, to prevent like the number from going way too high. Now, for additional links, each one of the frames is linked to one of these link hubs here, and they're in pairs of 2. So like for these 2, they're both linked to this top link hub, and this is how I'm detecting like the hitbox, or like quote unquote the hitbox of the bird. And whenever a pipe is going by, it triggers this AND gate. And these link hubs are connected to the AND gates. So it's basically detecting, hey, is the bird, with the link hubs are detecting whether or not the bird is actually here, and the loopers are saying, hey, there's a pipe here. And if they're both true, that means subtract 1 health from the bird. And over here, this is a simple system, just like quickly put together, that basically just subtracts 1 health from your health meter, or lives meter. 1 life from your lives meter, not health. And then there's like a slight delay before you can take more damage, which is 3 seconds. And of course, once that hits 0, that means you lose, and that's the game over. Yeah, I guess the one thing that I didn't really cover is pipe spawning. So there's this system that controls, these links control the speed of the pipes as they go across the screen. So these timers basically represent how fast the pipes are. So it goes from 1.5 seconds all the way down to 0.3, which I did not make in that first demonstration. And then there's additional links for the spawn delay. So whenever this looper triggers to move over the pipes, it'll also trigger this power holder over here, which basically like once one of these timers goes off, that means it'll trigger a spawn for one of the pipes, and that's just linking up the looper up to here, which resets this delay and powers this randomizer, which goes into these link hubs, which basically just like are like the presets of the pipe layouts. So here, as you can see, it powers every pipe except these 2. This one pipes every other pipe except for these 2, etc., etc. And these are just like presets of like, oh, the pipes will be like this. Ignore that red. You know, the pipe will be like this, or the pipe will be like this. Not like that, like this. And that's what the link ups are for. Just a bunch of presets of the pipe formations that can spawn. Other than that, there is this setup, which the start in button is connected up to. So basically, once you press the button, it powers this power holder, and that just allows for all of these link systems to start and resets them from the previous round. And every 30 seconds, there's a different system that goes, "Hey, the difficulty increased," and the difficulty just keeps increasing until this very point every 30 seconds until it reaches the max. And basically, what I'm doing there is just the power holder originally powers this first XOR gate, which represents the easiest difficulty, and then each timer past that triggers the next XOR gate, which is just a higher difficulty than the previous. And yeah, that's really it. Overall, not like hard at all. Oh, I did forget one thing. There's the scoring system over here. Basically, it's just detecting once a pipe reaches the end, it'll power this counter gate by 1. And that's just what score is. Alright, now that's it. You know, overall, it's really simple. There's some like little nuances to everything. Like, I needed a delay for these loopers before they can move again. Or else if I didn't have that delay, then whenever I triggered this link hub that moves the pipes over, it would just have the pipe zip right to the end instantly. And with the delay, it prevents that, to make sure that doesn't happen, because that's not very fair whatsoever. You know, like, overall, it's super simple. I put it together like, what, two hours today? Like, barely any time. It was super quick, super easy to put together. And it's really not much to show, I'll be honest with you. I mean, it's a game, I guess. It's Flappy Bird, in a what sense. It's not really anything special or unique.